Hello and welcome to a new video. In this video, we're going to work on the stress around Christmas. So for many of us, it's a stressful time for a number of reasons. It might be the case that we have a long to-do list. We are in charge for many things and have to take care of other people or of the preparation for Christmas. And so I would advise you to head over to my video on focus. So that might help to kind of to just calm the noise and just make it easier to focus on one thing at a time. But there are a number of other things that might surface throughout that period of time. We might face old family dynamics. We might get really triggered. There might be things or issues we thought we had already worked through and they're still there, and we judge ourselves. But it also might be difficult to manage other people's expectations. Yeah, sometimes we don't want to disappoint other people, but we know we need space for ourselves, and so it's hard to say no, and all these things kind of like come together and really make it difficult to sometimes to enjoy those days. So we want to work on that and just create some space, create some space for ourselves, and just to kind of like reconnect, because it's so easy. Like if we've got a lot going on, it's so easy to just lose ourselves in that, and then we react from a different place. So we want to come back to ourselves and create that space and that connection. Okay, let's get started. Even though I feel overwhelmed and triggered right now with everything going on, right here and right now, it's safe to feel all my feelings. Even though I feel I cannot disappoint other people, and it's hard to say no and create the space I need. Maybe I can have compassion for myself anyway. Even though there's such a lot going on, and I feel triggered by all the old issues coming up. And maybe I'm angry with myself for not being able to deal with that in a better way. Still, I choose to love and accept myself, even if those things are still an issue. Okay, let's go to the top of the head. All these things coming up. Eyebrow point, I feel really triggered. Side of the eye, and I thought I had already worked through this. Under the eye, and I'm really disappointed. Under the nose, why is this still an issue? Under the lips, I cannot believe this. Collarbone point, it's so frustrating. Under the arm, it really makes me angry. Top of the head, I should be further along by now. How is it possible that I'm still struggling with this? Side of the eye, I feel really triggered. Under the eye, I feel like I'm back to an old identity, an old self. Under the nose, I'm back in the past. Under the lips, and it makes me feel really helpless. Collarbone point, there are these old wounds surfacing again. under the arm. And it feels really frustrating having to deal with that again. Top of the head. But maybe it's okay to feel all my feelings around this. Maybe I can allow the frustration and anger to move through me. Side of the eye. Maybe it's a reminder that there's still some more work to do. Under the eye. Maybe I can see that as a reminder what I still need to work on. Under the nose, maybe I can see that as an opportunity for growth. Under the lips, but maybe part of me is just fed up and overwhelmed. Collarbone point, with all those things coming up. Under the arm, all those expectations. Top of the head. I feel like I really don't want to disappoint other people. I want them to be happy. Side of the eye, but part of me knows that I need to create some space for myself. Under the eye, and that might mean that I have to say no. Under the nose, and part of me feels it's impossible to say no. Under the lips, I've got all this fear of disappointing other people. Collarbone point, it's not safe to say no. Under the arm, it's not safe to put myself first. Top of the head, I'm just not used to that. Eyebrow point, and it feels so uncomfortable. Side of the eye, how could I possibly do that? Under the eye, what would people think if I behave differently all of a sudden? Under the nose, what if they reject me? Under the lips, what if they are disappointed if I say no? Collarbone point, all these expectations and this overwhelm. Under the arm, I can really feel it in my body. Top of the head, and what if it was okay to feel it? Eyebrow point, what if I could explore where this all comes from? Side of the eye, what if it was okay to not have all the answers? Under the eye, what if it was okay to feel that discomfort? Under the nose, that discomfort that comes when I feel into saying no. Under the lips, what if I could lean into it? Collarbone point, what if I could explore why it's not safe to say no? Under the arm, what if I could be gentle and kind to myself? Top of the head, What if it was okay to move through this process slowly and gently? Eyebrow point. What if I didn't have to abandon myself just to fulfill other people's expectations? Side of the eye. What if I could feel all the fear I feel when I think about their reactions? Under the eye. Maybe it's okay to be with those feelings right now. Under the nose, to feel into them and see what they feel like in my body. Under the lips, right here and right now, it's safe to feel all my feelings. Collarbone point, there's no need to push them away. Under the arm. What if I'm still a good person, even if I have these feelings? Top of the head. What would it feel like to be okay with having those emotions? Eyebrow point. What if I could accept myself with all those emotions? Side of the eye. Right here and right now, it's safe to feel all my feelings. Under the eye, what if I could be curious what's behind those feelings? Under the nose, what if I could open up to more ease and more peace in my body? Under the lips, what would it look like if this was easy? The collarbone point, what if I could be patient and kind to myself in this process? Okay, let's stop. Let's stop tapping here. Take a deep breath in. And as always, this can be a starting point for you. I hope you feel calmer, but it can be a starting point for you to explore a little bit more where those feelings come from. And sometimes there are things we've carried for a long time, so we need to find patience with ourselves and treat ourselves with kindness and with just be very gentle with yourself and acknowledge that it is a lot to handle and to deal with. So thanks for tapping with me. I hope to see you in another video.